Hello and welcome to Nintendo Voice, your voice, everything Nintendo. This is episode 134, being recorded on the 11th of April?
Correct.
2018. My name is Lewis Pugh, and joining me to talk all things Nintendo, we have Harrison Milfeld.
Hi, and I'm here in April 10th, since these fellows are actually ahead of me.
That's right, and that happens every week. And
it does!
We also have a Colin.
Hello from the future.
Colin, are you in particularly in the future, like even compared to me?
I mean,
are you just like time traveling forward, or?
No.
That'd be amazing.
No, what we actually have right now, the listeners don't realize, is that we've already pre-recorded Colin's stuff because he could not be here. You know, he's been putting up with a lot of work right now, so we said, like, hey, just pretend and just shout off a bunch of stuff thinking about Monster Hunter for a little bit, and then we'll just edit it in. So that's what we'll do. So what you're seeing right now, that laughing, we planned that. So there we go.
That's right. So don't expect any genuinely unique responses from Colin this evening. Do you have anything to say to that, Colin?
No.
Okay. It's working quite well so far. Honestly, I reckon audio listeners of this will genuinely not be aware that Colin wasn't actually here in this episode, but we will march on. We do have some what we've been playing this week in addition to the Nintendo news, and we do have a super topic, and we're going to be talking about, just as a little tease, we're going to be talking about the craziest things we've done for a video game. And that's going to be our super topic at the end of the show. Before we jump into some what we've been playing, a little bit of housekeeping. You can obviously listen to the podcast via iTunes and other podcasting audio-only services, or you can also check us out on youtube.com/Nintendo Voice. You can watch us live every week or check out the archives at your whenever it's best for you. It doesn't have to be live. And also, we do have a Patreon. So please do check that out, patreon.com/Nintendo Voice. If you support us for $1 a month, you can chuck us a super topic question for us to go through at the end of an episode. And so, let's jump straight into some what we've been playing. And this may be tricky. This is going to take a bit of technical editing to do. But Colin, could you please lead? What have you been playing? In particular, something fresh this week. What can you bring to the table?
Hello. Yes. I can't bring anything overly fresh. I am talking about a game I've played before. I've talked about before. Super Mario Odyssey. I've unlocked what I think is the final world, which is the darker side of the moon. So you get the dark side of the moon, which is like a boss rush thing. Then you have to click like 500 moons to unlock the darker side of the moon.
Yes, I do believe it's 500.
Now,
yeah, and I haven't even gotten to that yet. It's just I really need to return to that game so bad.
I mean, the first like 400 moons are really easy to get. And I think 400 is like the tipping point for me. It's started to become more challenging. Like you do a lot of things for one moon, and it's a pain. So the dark side of the moon is insanely tough for what it is. This is why I believe it's far level, because it's basically a huge assault course that you have to do, that you have to conquer if you can. It's tough. It's insanely tough for what it is. Lewis, have you tried it or?
No, I've not. I've not got the milestone yet, so no, I've not even been able to attempt it. I've heard interesting things about people who have challenged it.
It's fun, but it's very, because it's very long and there's 0 checkpoints. So if you die at any point, you get moved straight back to the beginning, and you have to do the whole process again. So I've yet to actually beat this stage. I don't know what you actually get for doing it. I'm guessing they just chuck a bunch of moons at you.
Probably more moons, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that seems to be the case.
Triple moon.
I hope it's like 20 of them, because it's
really the most you can get. Surely
it's well, you can just make it rain moons or something. One thing I did like is you're on the darker side of the moon, but it's not. You don't have the moon physics, so you run around like normal. It's like normal gravity, which is nice because I hate the moon physics. Like when you do the dark side of the moon, it's that boss rush mode. It's with moon physics and it's horrible.
Have you played Super Mario Land 2?
Yes, but not for many. Like we're talking over a decade.
Did that have that did have a boss rush mode, didn't it?
No, not about a boss rush mode, but it did have moon physics.
I know what you're talking about. There was, which if you have the rabbit ears in one of those stages, it just the gravity just like went way through the roof.
Well, so. I think you could combine that as well, yeah. But there was a like moon stage, and yeah, you do have the moon gravity. And I think Mario was in a little spacesuit. Did he change costume in Mario Land 2? I remember him being in a little spacesuit.
I will check. Spacesuit, but no, he did. No, he did. Well, he did have a. Well, he had rabbit ears, so that was one.
Yeah,
I'm sure he had a spacesuit as well. Anyway, Colin, do you remember that? Is this?
Yep,
is this consistent? Was that also annoying?
Well, I don't remember the. Sorry, what was the question?
Well, because you also have the moon gravity in Mario Land 2. I was just wondering if you found that as annoying.
Well, I haven't. I honestly, I cannot remember the moon physics in Mario Land 2. It's been like over a decade since I played Mario Land 2. But yeah, it's this whole level is basically a test of all the Cappy abilities that you get at your disposal. There's a huge Yoshi section, which is infuriating. But I still think it's weird that Mario you can't even just make Mario ride Yoshi. You have to possess him.
Yeah, I was like, a bit disappointed when
I'm like, come on. Just let me jump on his back. No, you have to like take over his body. All right.
Which is strange because I mean it's the same.
Mm.
Like when when you've captured Yoshi, that it's it plays like as you would expect.
Yeah.
But it's that little difference of you're not jumping on him and then riding him as Mario.
Mm. Yeah, I've killed a lot of Yoshis playing this level because you kind of have to sacrifice them.
As is the case we've done in the past.
Yeah. Mario really is a mass murderer of Yoshis.
No, you are.
That's a great call out.
Like, no, you are.
You are the murderer.
You were behind the steering wheel, Colin.
I mean, we've all done it.
Have we?
So we are all mass murderers of Yoshis. We are wiping out entire species as we speak.
But they reproduce so quickly. I mean,
that's true, and they just need to eat like one thing, and there's an egg. So there you go. But yeah, that's basically it for Mario Odyssey for me. I was hoping to beat the level then talk about it, but it's just the level's tough.
How many attempts do you think you've put into it so far?
Oh, well, I did it on stream and we counted. So I went through it 25 times, and I yet to beat it.
Okay.
Because there's so many because there's levels within this one level. So you go for like a warp pipe, you have to do like a mini section, then you come out the other side, then you go walk along a bit, another warp pipe, and it's like a completely different area, and it has like all the different physics. Like there's an ice bit, there's bits we have to be as the bird with the beak that you can hook into wooden platforms. There's the Yoshi's. That is the best bit. There's the Yoshi section. There's a flying section where you control that gliding lizard thing. That thing looks so dopey. But he's great though. There's a very tricky wall jumping section, which is like you have to be precise, absolutely precise. If you mess up once, you don't just fall into lava; you fall into the abyss, and that counts as a death. Of course, you die at any point, straight back to the beginning. There's no second chance. There's no nothing. It's just.
Can you use assist mode?
I've never used assist mode, and I don't really want
because I don't think you can fall off things in assist mode, or it's something like that.
Really? That just sounds.
Or I think it floats you back on, like sort of New Super Mario Bros. Type thing.
I'm never going to use that. I want to beat this thing fair and square. Well, people were telling me, "Oh, make sure you got 6 hearts." I'm like, why? I'm gonna lose them in like because there's bits where you got to fight enemies. It's like I could just lose them, and then I wasted like 10 minutes of my life getting these bonus hearts. And
Yeah, I guess the question is when you fail that level, is it because your health is depleted or because you fall off of
it's
something?
most likely because you fall off. There's a lot
Yeah, I
of
imagine so.
there's a lot of like death pits just waiting for you to fall into. Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky, but it's fun. That's the main thing. It's still fun. It's frustrating at times because sometimes you do like the same jump, but it gives you a different result. Like sometimes you don't clear a gap that you cleared last time. You're like, but it makes no sense. But that's the nature of Mario. So yeah, it's fun, infuriating.
Fun, infuriating. Quite the onomatopoeia. Yeah, well,
exactly.
So, is it still good?
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
Not great. Good.
Thanks for clarifying that. If my repeated questioning of it wasn't enough,
I just want to put it out there. It's okay. It's okay to not say that.
Do you like receiving hate mail?
No, I don't.
I don't think you made the effort there to clarify your statement from good to not great.
Because people are going to be like, "Oh, he said it was good." I'm like, I've been saying it's good this entire time.
Exactly, but you made a point. Go, no, it's not great.
It's not great.
You could have left it. We agreed it was good then.
I know it is good.
Okay,
that's my point.
But not great.
No, exactly.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh well.
Do you want to quickly give out? I'll let you give your Twitter handle out early today if you want.
You best please send your hate mail to @HighlyEmbarred on Twitter. I'll take it, and I will sit down. I will carefully explain to you why Odyssey is a good game.
That's quite a novel service you're offering.
I can't say any fairer than that.
I don't think you can.
Odyssey is a good game. I mean, that's not negative. That's a positive, people.
It is. It's in the
positive. I mean, we know it's a positive. It's like you're just tiptoeing along the lines. Like, what can I do to get some hate mail on this show?
No, Mario Odyssey is a quality 6.5 out of 10 game.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? That counts as good.
It technically does. That's
So
it technically does, but the way you're doing that is like what Jim Sterling did when he gave like 7 out of 10 to Breath of the Wild, which I was fine with. It's like, you know what, I was gonna dog him too much on there, but when he talked about the weapon degradation, I was like, yeah, you're wrong on that, buddy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I could find other issues with Breath of the Wild, but yeah, just knocking 3 points off for one fault. That's
well. The one thing I don't really... Okay, anytime when I say something like for a game reviewing, I'm like, oh, it's a 6.5 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10. And they're like, oh, wow, you're being really harsh on them. I'm like, 7 out of 10 is good. I mean, well, I mean, it's good. It's good. It's not like great as far as, oh my God, this is amazing. It's just people are getting so fixated on the A to F scale, like the ABC scale.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, where they feel like anything below, like if it gets D territory, oh, this is bad. I'm like,
yeah, I hate this mentality. Like anything below an 8 isn't worth playing. I'm like, no, that's not the case. Like 8 means it's great, 7 means it's very good, 6 is good, 5's average, so on and so forth. So yeah, anything above 5 for me is worth playing. Absolutely. You got to bear with the faults.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go.
Is there ever a time where a game under a 5 is worth playing?
For ironic reasons,
or whatever reasons, your own reasons.
It depends if it's a series that you're attached to.
Okay.
Because when you're attached to a series, you're more accepting of the faults.
Or possibly like a license is attached to.
True, that as well. I mean, it could be anything like that. But yeah, so
that's good to know. Harrison, have you been up to much gaming wise since the last show?
Sorry to disappoint you all, but nothing really interesting to report on my end. And that's not because me being bad on a show about video games or Nintendo-related products. It's just other things. So I will be having more next week, trust me, and you'll be excited for it. So.
Have you played any more part-time UFO?
I did play a little bit of it, and it's grabbing my attention here and there a little bit right now. But again, it's becoming... My only thing I really just don't like is in between when you start each mission to whatever this UFO is like jobs it has to do, it'll give you 3 pictures of things to do, and like one will have a clock on the far right of it, which you're like, okay, that means finish it within the time that you're given, easy. But then the other one, they show these cryptic pictures, which they don't really tell you what to do. Like one will show like, say, a guy that's like a robber or something like that in a museum, and you have to just pick up some random statue that's not part of the things that you have to basically balance on there, and you're like, oh, this guy should not be here. You get that. And it just doesn't label it out for you. I feel like it's just too cryptic to me to like, okay, this picture's telling me to stack these in a certain order. I'm like, oh, find this thing. It's just, I wish it would be able to tell me more on there. That's it. It's just, but with enough thinking, you can figure it out on your own. But it's like, man, I really don't care for that. But again, it's on Android right now, so do pick it up. I do enjoy it.
Cool.
So,
all right, I guess that leaves me. At the start of our pre-podcast audio, I made a statement saying I haven't played anything new, which isn't entirely true.
Oh,
lies. Well, kind of lies.
Lies and deceit.
A little white lie. Because I've not played a new game.
Okay.
I've played some new DLC.
Ooh, that counts.
And this is for Pinball FX 3. And it kind of counts. It's a weird one, this.
I'll take it.
Because this is the first DLC I've purchased for Pinball FX 3.
Okay.
And the way the game works is you download it for free and you're given some sample tables, and the rest you buy piecemeal. And so I bought 2 packs of tables. One was the Bethesda games tables.
I had a feeling I was going to pick that up.
Right.
Mainly due to one table in particular.
Doom.
Yes, Doom.
There you go.
It had
the Dooms.
Doom. I'm not even sure. Is it Skyrim in particular?
Skyrim and Fallout, I believe.
And Fallout, yeah. I've not played this other 2. The Doom table was very cool, though. I'll go back to that. The other pack I bought was, I'm not sure what it's called, but it comprises of Family Guy, American Dad, Bob's Burgers, and Archer.
Okay.
And they've got tables each. And they're all pretty cool. But altogether, out of all those, that Doom table is genuinely what I prefer. Not just because it's Doom, but it seems the most fleshed out of those ones I've played. And to give a reminder, I've not played those other Bethesda tables, so they might be as fleshed out or more so than the Doom one.
Does it play the Doom music when you're playing the table?
As a new Doom music?
Well, I was kind of having the old music, but new music's, yeah.
Exactly. I think it plays new Doom music. It does have audio, as in the spoken audio from the new Doom game.
Okay.
Cool. So, like the little story bits, they weave into the pinball experience. It's actually really nicely done, and you get like the 3D models of the characters appearing,
nice.
both demons and like the odd story characters and such. And there's a lot of like sub modes where you get your ball into a certain area, and then instead of the buttons you would use for the flippers, they now do these other things, like whether they're rotating these objects or shooting stuff.
I was going to say, do you get guns?
Essentially. But yeah, there's a lot going on, and it's quite impressive how much like care and detail they put into these things. Because I would have imagined just kind of, because I'm not a necessarily huge fan of pinball. I mean, I like it, but I don't really, I've not really experienced much pinball outside of it being a nice novelty. But yeah, there's lots of these unique mechanics. I would have kind of expected you get like kind of fairly standard table layouts, and then just apply the graphics and the music of the license on top of it, and then just change the general kind of layout of the tables and the points you get for each area. But no, it's very involved. And I've also been playing it in portable portrait mode.
Oh, okay.
Which is, I think, the first time I tried. I can't remember if I tested out on the sample tables or not. But that is really cool. And I snap off one of the Joy-Cons, so it's just a Joy-Con and a Switch screen.
Hmm.
And that works really well.
Isn't it a pain though, the fact that it'd be nice if the stand, when it clips out, you can rotate it so you can stand it up in portrait mode. You know what I mean?
Handy, but I'm just kind of holding it like a Game Boy sort of thing. Yeah, the Switch kind of makes quite a cool Game Boy if you play it like that, really. only for certain games use it, but I mean, if it's a pinball, you only need 2 buttons anyway.
That's right, yeah.
And the defaults are pretty comfortable. Yeah, and it works well. But obviously, it works really well on the TV as well. I'll give a small update about some ongoing games. I'm checking the activity meter.
There you go.
Gotta check the activity.
Yeah. Splatoon 2.
Ooh.
Been playing a lot of Splatoon 2.
Did you hear the rumor about when the Octo expansion's coming out?
I did, and I think that's the same date that the Amiibo are coming out, which would make sense.
It's the Amiibo, but also the same date as Octopath Traveler.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's Wales then.
Mm-hmm.
That's like August?
No, July.
July, right.
So I still need to finish Xenoblade Chronicles 2 before that happens too, either way.
I need to buy Xenoblade Chronicles 2 before that.
Oh, very, very good game. But yeah, on Splatoon 2, I've now hit the 250-hour milestone, at least according to the activity log.
Do you not feel worried about that number?
The only worrying part is I'm level 40.
Okay. You feel like it should be higher?
Well, yeah, because obviously they've increased the cap. Like,
that's right.
It was, well, more recently it was at 100, and then they let you essentially prestige it so you can do 100 again.
Yeah.
So I've seen a few people with little stars next to their number, and I'm just wondering how many hours that truly takes. But yeah, I mean, I'm not striving particularly for that. I do find it fun to rank up and such, because obviously ranking is completely separate to your level.
Yeah. I mean, getting to 100 requires some hardcore platooning.
Oh, definitely. Well, the strange thing is, it's purely just a factor of how long you've played, not
pretty
how well
much.
you've
Yeah,
played.
it doesn't really equal skill. Yeah.
No,
So,
just how much time you poured into it. That's what I find that the ranks are cool, and because obviously they were also introducing Rank X with the free update, which goes alongside the paid DLC expansion coming up, and that's another one where you need to pour a ridiculous amount of time in, because, well, yes and no. Or just be incredibly well skilled, I guess. Because the way the ranking works in Splatoon 2, if you're not too familiar, is you need, every time you win a game of rank mode, a meter will fill up. And when you get that complete, you will rank up. The problem is, when you lose a match, you'll get a crack will go through the glass of your meter. And if you get a few of those, it will shatter. And if there's also a yellow bar, which is kind of the safe zone. If your meter was past that before it smashes, you don't drop down a rank, but your meter will deplete and you have to start again. If it smashes before that point, it actually takes your rank down.
That just sounds rage-inducing.
That it can be, especially because naturally,
just snap the switch in half at that point.
The high rank goes, the more skillful players you're pitted against, consistently. But the thing with Rank X is, and they only revealed these details fairly recently, is the highest rank currently is S+, but then it also has numbers.
Okay.
You can rank up the S+. You can be S+ 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So to get to the Rank X, you need to be an S+ 10, which means you've had to have already got to the S+ rank, but then you've had to complete that meter 10 times, like in a row, essentially.
It's too much work
to get to the X Club. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. But no, it's been fun because they're always adding new weapons. There was another Splatfest recently, and I've only started playing around with putting like specific abilities on my gear. It's never anything I've really paid much attention to before. I just let them level up, and that's fine. But now I'm working on getting full sets for each of the gear. But now it still proves to be fun, and I'm very much looking forward to the Octo expansion and the all the free stuff coming out soon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, lots more Splatoon in the future. I do have more stuff, but I'll leave it to one extra thing, which is an update of something I talked about a couple of weeks ago. Azure Striker Gunvolt.
Yes.
So I've got an update on that.
Okay, though you said the last time we had you were on the boss rush mode portion of the last one.
Yes.
And the
update is he deleted it.
It's not been deleted because the collection does also include the second game.
Okay.
So the update is I'm still at that boss. So I've made some progress, which I didn't know before.
Okay.
So when I was complaining, I couldn't make it through, you have to do all the bosses in a row on a lift. No, but that wasn't quite true. You have to do the first 3 bosses consecutively, and then you hit a checkpoint. So that was the point I was struggling with before. For some reason, I thought I had done more, but that's not the case. But I've done that since. And it didn't actually take too many attempts after revisiting it. I think it was like the second or third, oddly. And I got past those first 3. Oh, okay. Hit a checkpoint. Brilliant. And then there's, some more bosses. And I got through those. And then you face Copen. And I struggled and struggled and struggled to the point where I just wanted to play another game. And I knew I knew the great problem there was that if I do, I'm going to lose that checkpoint. If I leave it here, I've got a checkpoint. I can keep trying him again. If I switch back to Sync, then go back, I'm going to have to go for the lift, go through those other bosses to reattempt this guy again, which I'm making no progress at. I've got a feeling like I need to spec out my character because that is something you can do.
Well, yeah, I think that's one thing you need. The one important thing I could probably do is you have a little droid animation where whenever you try to tag things, that helps out a lot because it will spin around and hit enemies that you normally will miss, and that will help you when you actually tag, and then use your force field on everything else. So, but yeah, like I said, that's one thing I did have trouble with the game for a little bit was oh, I gotta start upgrading this person. And that's one thing I do. And then you have these little challenges in between these levels, which label everything out. But I think the one thing with the first game, unless they fixed it with this collection, is that you had to have the challenges selected to actually beat them. So for instance, beat the first level within 30 seconds, or beat this boss within 30 seconds, beat this level in 3 minutes. It's I did that, but I didn't have it selected. That's why.
Yeah, that's kind of dumb. Yeah,
it's like opt-in achievement sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's the update. So I think at this point I might give it another go, but I might just jump into number 2. But yeah, that'll be an update for next week. I'll drag this one out. Yeah. Some progress was made. Not what I was expecting. Anyway, I think it's time now for the Nintendo news.
That indeed, that is important, as we always do. We do that. We do that often, right? Or we just skip the news, and be like, "There's nothing to cover."
Yeah.
I'm sure it's happened.
I think we have done that. At some point, we've gone. Yeah, just leave it.
One of those Wii U droughts, maybe.
Yeah, quite a few times during the Wii U era, I think.
That's right. We'll come up with a creative feature because there is no news.
Exactly. Yes.
All right. The first news update we have for you this week, though, is about Travis Strikes Again. We've got some new details. Cedar 51 has given us some new details. We've got quite a big list here.
I'll say a couple of these are pretty surprising, and one that I mean, it's a matter of whether we get a chance to see if No More Heroes 1 and 2 are going to come to the Switch, but I don't know. I always found it very interesting that I was reading through an interview, a few interviews with Suda51, why they didn't do the Wii U is because they didn't feel like the technology was right, not the graphical capabilities, but it was until when the Switch dev kits came in, and with the detachable Joy-Cons, is I think they realized, okay, we can definitely bring Travis back for this, like No More Heroes back for the series with this like the setup. So, but anyway, what did he say? What did he say exactly?
All right, let me read the quote then. We will be going into worlds of different games in the games universe. The first one he'll be going into, which is what has been unveiled in this demo, is Electronic Thunder Tiger 2, which is a sequel to an arcade game in that universe. The second game, Killer Marathon, which is a pinball game. The third is Life is Destroyed, which is a simulation puzzle game. The fourth game is Coffee and Donuts, which is an action-adventure game.
Amazing.
The fifth game is Golden Dragon GP, which is a racing game. The sixth game is Serious Moonlight, which is a huge AAA RPG. And the last one is a secret.
Oh.
I don't believe that Serious Moonlight is a AAA RPG.
No, unless he's just trolling us easily. But I'm getting the sense though from a lot of these games that are included, like they said, like at one point there was going to be a racing game, but it's not necessarily like, oh, you're gonna have like Travis touchdown in a vehicle just racing through like one level to actually is that what I'm getting correctly? Is that it's based in these worlds where you're racing, but it's just kind of like what we've seen from the first few footage, whether it's from PAX or GDC.
That's right. So yeah, it's heavily stylized to look like it's strange because they don't actually look like retro games. They just kind of have the atmosphere of like a retro game, because it is polygonal. Like you do see Travis running around and like slashing with his beam katana, but it's very like vibrant colors. You got like lots of what you'd expect for like retro sound effects and such, and those sort of like wave of enemies mechanics and those sort of patterns.
It looks good. It looks good.
Yeah, it's a cool art style, but yeah, I mean they're not what you would expect of a when you hear retro game though. It's not like just sprite based and
it's not like pixelated artwork. Yeah, it looks good for what it is. I'm intrigued by this. Yeah, it's AAA RPG thing. It makes me laugh. Like he's saying it's like Skyrim. Like no way. Yeah,
that would be pretty crazy if there generally was a really good, huge RPG in this thing, and they've not even shown any of it yet.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll be happy.
It would be fun. But no, I'm looking forward to Travis Strikes Again. It's also cool that they've leaned into the co-op side of things. Because,
I mean, it may not be essentially what we get from usual No More Heroes titles and such, whatever. But it's I don't know, enough to kind of keep me interested in there. But I'm reading though. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm looking. I know there's things that he did talk about on here for points to kind of stick out, and one of them on here was no voice acting, and I'm thinking that took me by surprise. Thinking like, wait, throughout. I don't know. Like I'm not trying to think too much of it like, to sour myself for this experience.
Because I think a big part of the first two main games was their characters, and with that voice acting, which went. Like it's hard to imagine like either of those No More Hero games where it wasn't actually voice acted and it was just text.
They did the whole thing where they talk through the Wii remote. Like the whole phone, you had to hold the Wii remote.
Oh yeah, they did have that.
Yeah, that's a cool concept. But
I do appreciate though that you can sit on the toilet like past games to save.
Yay!
Come on, that was a cool aesthetic. Whatever, it was funny.
I mean, it's good they brought it back, I guess. Yeah.
All right. Next piece of news we've got is the SNK 40th anniversary collection is coming to Switch.
Yay.
Just Colin's like, yay. Oh.
Colin's excited for this one. That was the best clip we had to use.
Well, yeah, obviously, because we had to match everything up here to make, like, as we said, like, podcasters remain. We're matching this stuff up pretty well.
This is true, yeah. I mean, especially if you do join the YouTube version, it's very impressive stuff.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing.
See? It's the 40th anniversary collection will include Crystalis, Ikari Warriors, and 3, Athena, Alpha Mission, Victory Row, POW, Prehistoric Isle, Psycho Soldier, Street Smart, TNK3, Vanguard, and Guerrilla War.
Only about 3 of those I've heard of. I mean, 3 of I've ever actually played, and others I've not so much. But
the weakest one's Akari Warriors, but yeah.
Well, NIS America, like NIS, was it NIS or NIS America, the publisher that's doing this? They've been really have a lot of hand in it, like a lot of Switch games recently.
Yeah, it's a strong platform for them, definitely. Yeah, I might pick this up. Quite a few of those games I enjoy. So, yeah, maybe. I don't know. It kind of depends on the price point.
Yeah, I think it is quite dependent on that, and if that is the ultimate collection of games, exactly. I'm not sure that's confirmed or not.
Exactly.
But it is also interesting that we are getting more of these collections of retro games, which kind of fill the
virtual
void
console yet. That's the thing.
Of a virtual console service. As well, more so at least on a third-party side, especially if this trend continues and we see more companies delving into their own back catalogs and providing a more like tailored experience for their own games.
We will see the virtual console on the Switch.
What, in any form or?
In any form.
Yes.
You think it will? It's taking a sweet time, like showing it, but we'll see.
No, that's true. I mean, it also really depends, like that any form part. Like we do already have like the arcade archives of Mario Bros. Versus and Punch Out.
Yeah.
On the arcade. And so I think in some form or another we'll start seeing retro games just hitting the eShop.
Yeah.
Whether they come under that sort of banner or not.
Yeah. I just kind of wish it was all in one service, but yeah.
Oh, sure.
Maybe when the paid service goes live, they'll about it at the same time, but we'll see.
We're getting something out of that at least.
That's true.
From their own words, we'll be getting some retro games on a monthly basis in some way or another.
Can't wait for that.
Exactly. I mean, they're not really selling at the best they can currently.
No.
and they've kind of brought that back and they've tried to clarify it, but until they do the actual reveal, it's hard to tell whether that service, in terms of the actual free retro games you get out of the premium Nintendo Network, is going to be really much of a value add or not. Hopefully it is.
Hopefully. I mean, yeah, exactly. It needs to be. They need to make it worthwhile. You paying for a service that they're bringing out. It's like because going from a free service to a paid service, there's a barrier for some people. They want something, for their money for the service. We'll see what happens, but yeah.
Yeah. We also got some more SNK news.
Yes.
SNK Heroines has got a release date. September 7th.
Yes. We heard this back at the mini direct back in January.
Yeah, and it's good to get an actual release, a specific release date.
Pretty far off, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting one. We don't really have much more news about it, so I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. But it's good. It's good just to see 2D fighters in that sense.
Well, one thing I kind of mentioned when we first released this is I think one of the more underrated fighters that we saw from the Wii was Tetsunuko. I was thinking of something different. I was thinking Capcom versus Tetsunuko, but there was a Capcom versus SNK. I think they did at least have one release on there.
There was one for the GameCube.
There was one for the GameCube.
You are...
Fight of the Millennium, I believe, or something like that.
Sounds right. It sounds like something you said a lot in that game.
Yeah.
Match of the Millennium. You think you might be right.
I played that game a lot.
I played that game a lot too.
I did not, unfortunately. I did play a lot of
games. Did you make any? I was going to say, did you make any crazy color palette swaps of those characters?
No, I don't think I did. I remember the easy option where you could use the C stick to do special moves, which I consider cheating. But
but did it anyway. Yeah.
When you're playing with a younger sibling, it's great for them.
Well, I do appreciate though for this one they actually do have some nice little custom outfits that they can and think that for all the fighters.
No, sure, yeah, it does look very customizable in that regards. And let's move on. We've got
that was a quick transit. We're done here.
There's not much to say. That's the thing. So yeah.
I mean, it's just a quick update.
It is.
There's a new trailer out there. Check it out if you're interested.
That's Lewis's sales pitch. Check it out if you're interested.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, this is a game which you know if you're interested.
It's good. It has
like looking into some SNK heroines. You know, it's you know what it's about. Almost missed this one. Not sure how. Mega Man X. We heard, I can't remember when this was, that Mega Man X games are coming out. I was like, yay.
I think it was back in December we heard about this being announced. It was the same time when we got Mega Man 11 announced.
Exactly, but they didn't really say how, just like the Mega Man X games are coming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, they did mention that. I did think that, but they said there was going to come in 2 collections, but they didn't specify how.
Yeah, I'm not sure they even did. I think they were talking about, you know, the Mega Man Legacy collections were coming to Switch. And then part of the same announcements, they said, "Oh, the Mega Man X games will be coming to systems." And yeah, we know at least that it's now is Mega Man X Legacy Collections 1 and 2, which will comprise of I don't have the tab really. Which Mega Man X games is that?
Well, the Legacy Collection had, let's just say, Legacy Collection, like the Legacy Collection has the good ones. The first one, it has Mega Man X1, 2, 3, and 4, which 4 being the first one that was actually not on any non-Nintendo platforms. And then the Legacy 2 has X5, X6, and this is where we get bad X7 and X8. So there's maybe like one good game on Legacy 2, I think, to get on there. I think it's like once they went away from the 2D plane is where it just got bad. They introduced Axel, which is a good character in theory, but...
he's the worst. No, he's the worst. I hate him.
So you'll probably only be seeing me buy Legacy Collection 1. That's just because...
Yes.
Even though I own... It seems like, aside from like Super Metroid and A Link to a Past, I think I own way different, more versions of Mega Man X than I can probably handle.
All right.
But this one though has actually some different things though for it. What was the new little mode? What is it called on here? I'm actually X Challenge. They actually have a boss mode. They have a boss rush mode in this one.
My favorite.
Lewis is sold.
Well, but no, like it's not like a typical like boss rush mode of like, okay, here's like you fight, you know, here's a boss from X1, X2, and X3 in a row, and they're different environments. No, like they're going to give you to a point where you can fight these bosses from different games together.
Okay, that's interesting.
So you can be facing like, I don't know, Metal Shark Player, which is the only one from 5 I know, like from Metal Shark Player versus like Chill Penguin or
I forgot the city names in X. They had some real on it.
No.
Ubukawanga?
No, do you know it's interesting with 5. Majority of the Mavericks in there are named after from Guns N' Roses.
Correct.
Because the person who was at Capcom was responsible for the localization was a huge Guns N' Roses fan, and the one I do remember, I can't remember off the top of my head, is all of them, but the one that does, it's a whale, which I think like okay, that's fine for a Maverick boss. You're going with the animals, but it's named after Duff McWhalen.
So yeah. That's so dumb.
But when will this be dropping, though, Lewis?
Hopefully that's on my screen. They are coming out July 24th.
Awesome.
It's not too far away.
Not far away.
Yeah, and both on the same day.
It's good.
Which in my mind makes it odd how it is split up into 2 collections. So.
Yeah, they could easily do one, but hey, it's probably, I don't know. Maybe some people prefer the later games. I don't know who. They should be committed, I think. But yeah, maybe some people prefer the later games. I
don't know. They made their bed, I guess, when they made just the Mega Man Legacy Collection. You have to do it in 2 now.
2 and 2. Yeah, you gotta split up. Wait, we
Or
can't
probably more
these-
so, we can get away with making it 2 games.
Well, that it's like they're trying. Are they not trying to put it on one cart or something? I don't know.
That'd be cool,
Yes,
but
I mean,
I don't think
if
so.
it's a new collection, then why release 1 and 2 at the same time?
Yeah.
Like, there's not a clear divide why you would separate those games. Or even if there was, I don't know. It just seems strange that, I think it made more sense with the Mega Man Legacy collections because they released, number 1, and then it was, they released number 2, what was it, about a year afterwards or so.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if it's all made
and ready to go, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure there's money to be made.
There's always money to be made off Mega Man, no matter how dead he may be.
Oh,
Oh, he's not dead. He's not dead now.
So long for Capcom to realize that fact. It's so bizarre. How strange. Mega Man can make money. I think
I hope he makes more money. I want him to.
I'm sure he will. It's just if that was just a known quantity, why has there been such a big gap of no Mega Man? Because it has been quite a gap.
There has been.
Mega Man's been good to us, but it's been a while.
I think Smash was a big deal in bringing him back, but we'll see.
Will we have Mega Man in Smash for Switch?
I'm hoping we have X in the new Smash.
I'm of the belief though when it comes to third-party characters, with the exception of Sonic, that they may just get a fresh take on it. I don't know. It's the same thing when I saw with Snake though. I feel like they may just change things out or something, because as far as third-party characters going in, we may actually get more of the indie style though. Who knows?
Yeah, that's. I want a series of history. I want Castlevania in Bloody Smash, but
Simon Belmont would be great. It would be, but look at the state. I mean, well,
it'd be kind of odd though, because he'd be whipping Mario, and it'd be kind of weird. But it'd be cool.
Whipping. Okay, well,
weirder than Bayonetta.
Yeah, I would say weirder than Bayonetta, the one whose clothes are hair.
Yeah.
And it's quite a faithful representation of the character in Smash Bros. Surprisingly so. Considering the age-rating differences of both games.
Like, the weirdest one's still Snake. Like, here's a guy, a trained to killer. They definitely had to skeet around, though, for like that. They couldn't have any, guns, for instance. The only one was, the, Stinger missiles that they had probably from his Smash move, and then, of course, grenades. Yeah. So, you obviously couldn't have any sorts of ARs or any of these different high assault high-end weaponry that's meant to kill a lot of people in so little time. Yeah, that's true.
There's a Metal Gear on the stage. That's quite.
Is that? Also,
it is, but it's meant to take out nukes. But it's meant to take out nukes and crush Gray Fox to oblivion.
That's great. Yeah, but it's meant to take out nukes.
I need to
which is true.
Do my Metal Gear research. I thought the Metal Gears fired the nukes.
Yeah,
mobile nuke.
They do, but they're anti-nuke weapons.
Yeah, I know, and the way I'm saying that right now, I feel like I just screwed up, and everybody's gonna be talking online like, "This is not what you're supposed to say." I'm like, "Okay, I know, I screwed up. I'm sorry."
Disclosure: the only Metal Gear, I was gonna clarify, say Metal Gear Solid, but they were all saying, actually, no, I completed 2 Metal Gear Solid games.
Okay.
One is the Game Boy Color.
Ghost Babel. That's really good.
Babel. And then Metal Gear Solid 4 on the PS3. Those are the 2 I have completed.
You mean you watched Metal Gear?
Yeah, you watched 4.
There's a lot of watching. They are interactive cutscenes, I have,
Well, that's okay.
Doesn't count.
You can ever so slightly move the camera around zoom in slightly. And certain bits you can do weird 2-second flashbacks. And on some scenes you can drive around a little Metal Gear for no reason.
It almost feels like I was listening to an episode of Retronauts, and they were talking about Metal Gear games, and it seemed like every time when Kojima actually went really far out with his story a little bit, it seemed like Konami had to actually pull his leash out for it was the same thing with one revolutionary for what it did for the stealth genre. 2 definitely pulled the rug underneath everybody with the whole, okay, you're not playing with Snake the most of the time, you're playing with Raiden. Of course.
And it was abysmal, story-wise.
Yeah, I mean that's where it gets to it. And then 3 definitely was a little bit more grounded because when you actually look at like the story of Big Boss is a lot more interesting to learn about as opposed to Snake, because Snake is more of a blank slate of a person. You're just like, I don't care about this.
Metal Gear 3 is the absolute best game in the series.
Although I haven't played 5, that everybody told me that is just phenomenal what it's done with the series. And then 4 comes along, you're like, oh, it doubles down from what 2 was, because they're trying to tie up the loose ends from the Patriots. But wow, how did we get this from Mega Man to now? Wow, that's
it began with M, so that's why.
All that. Smash Bros.
Anyway, so Mega Man.
Mega Man, yes.
We agree Mega Man's good. We should have more of it.
Yes, there you go. Boom, done.
Nice, done. On to the final piece of news. We have an update on Dragon Quest XI. The Switch version. Well, I guess the Nintendo versions.
I thought you said Twitch version. I was like, wait, is this a Twitch plays Dragon Quest?
Twitch version.
I'm guessing.
That'd be interesting.
So we have a release date for the Western version of Dragon Quest XI, which is coming. What is the date? I had it right in front of me. September 4th this year. It's something to look forward to. It's only the PC and the PlayStation 4 versions.
I know, it's shocking.
Yeah, there's no 3DS version there, no Switch version there either. And so for the 3DS version, we don't have a clear and concise message from the company about
what I've read. It's heavily indicated that the 3DS version is not leaving Japan, from what I've read. They're focusing entirely on the full 3D version of the game, i.e. PC, PS4, and Switch for the Western release. They're not going to localize the 3DS version, which is an interesting choice because I would have preferred the 3DS version because of what you can do.
Compared to the Switch, if they were like released on the same day?
Yes, if it was set, I would have gone for the 3DS version because of what you can do. You can play it in 2D like an old school Dragon Quest game, and I much prefer that style. So,
that's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like it too. I like you can have it 2D or 3D. It's a nice little feature. Okay, so the PS4 is getting September? Is September coming?
Yep. September 4th.
Switch doesn't have a release date at all. And they said it might not come till the following year.
Or beyond.
Or beyond. And it's like, are you kidding? Good. And these kind of things, this is what hurt the Wii U, when like a big third-party game would come out and the Wii U was going to get it, and then it got a huge delay. Watch Dogs, I know, wasn't the best port on Wii U, but if it did come up with the other versions, it would have had a better chance, I think. But yeah, this is their reasoning. I don't think quite fits. They're saying that they got to work on it to make it run, basically.
Cool. Shall I quickly read out the quote from the...
Yes, please.
I mean, so from the producer of Dragon Quest XI, here is the quote. It's true that the Nintendo Switch version is under development at this moment in time. Specifically with regards to development, this game was developed on the Unreal Engine, but the version for Unreal Engine needs to be updated, I suppose, in order to support Switch. In that sense, the development is still expected to take a very long time. It's still a long ways out. They are the words of the producer himself. How long do we have to wait? A long time.
Yeah. In which time?
Very long time, in fact.
Well, in that time, people who will want to play Dragon Quest XI would have already played it. And yeah, it's not good.
A story of too little, too late, or just too late?
No, I think it's too late. I think it's Because even when the Switch version comes out later on, it'll come out full price. But the PS4 version, by that time the Switch version comes out, will probably be discounted slightly or even more.
So do you think they'll do anything like different?
You see, now that's the only thing. That's the only thing we could cling on to hope for is that because once the PS4 and PC versions are out, they can put their entire attention on the Switch version. They can then be like, okay, as a way of making up for this, we can add an extra dungeon or have some amiibo functionality, which is usually tacked on, but what the heck, we'll take it.
Yeah, I can see that. I'll take that amiibo functionality when it finally comes out.
Yeah.
With a line of its own amiibos.
Legend of Zelda outfit or something.
Oh, that, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, seems the case. It's odd, really, because I feel like Dragon Quest XI was like the very first Switch game announced.
It was, I believe it was, because they weren't meant to announce it, I believe, and they're like, yeah, it's coming PS4 and Switch. Well, they called it NX.
Exactly. At the time, it was still called NX.
So they knew. They had like a plan in their head for it. Maybe they didn't know the specifications of the Switch at the time, but still, they had an inkling. If they wouldn't have said it, they didn't have an inkling. So,
do you reckon this could have been shady business dealings?
I wouldn't be surprised if Sony were like, we need an exclusivity deal on this for a time.
I was thinking the opposite way around, actually.
Are you serious? Like
Nintendo was like, "Come on,
delay this game.
We need to get Dragon Quest." Like, Dragon Quest has been very popular in Nintendo systems, but you're not making 11 for us. We need 11 on our side. Here's a check or whatever. Will you make it for our next system?
What if I was Nintendo? I would say
like that's what the agreement was.
If I was a company, but I would say to them, look, let us localize or let us publish Dragon Quest XI for the 3DS in the West, like we handled the publication for the DS games. Let us do that. You know what I mean? And then because they could just use the localization from because the PS4 game. It's the same story, but it's told in a different way on PS4 to 3DS. It's just a different game engine that it's running on, but it's the same story. So surely the script still fits. So, yeah, just it can't be that hard.
What's the deal? Come on, no. I it's very interesting as far as the timing for this one when it comes to like whether it needs to be things that like. But their version of the Unreal Engine needs to be updated, and whether once they get this right. But I don't know. Like again, this is getting mixed news from a lot of Nintendo fans. But for me, when I hear something as far as delay, disappointing, I try not to make myself get overly furious or something like that, or mad. It's whatever. It's one to kind of question about though.
It is, but on the bright side, we've got Octopath Traveler coming out. And I think that's going to cover a lot of people's JRPG itch for the time being. So I think
it's one of those rare exclusive JRPGs.
Exactly. So I think we're okay on the JRPG front, but it is kind of like if people are waiting for this game, they're going to go buy it on PS4 or PC. And when the Switch version comes out, they won't be interested.
It's going to be a much smaller audience, definitely.
Exactly. And
people are still interested there.
And I just don't. Yet to play it. I hope Square Enix don't look at the numbers and go, "Oh, people didn't buy it much on Switch." It's like, well, no, because you released it a year and a half later, or whatever it's going to turn out to be. It's like, what was you expecting?
Yeah, but as you mentioned, like Square Enix are also making Octopath, so hopefully those, like the various products they've got, will send the correct message over. Like yes, we do like RPGs, but we don't like having a game delayed.
Immense delays.
Yeah.
So
hopefully it sees it through. Octopath Traveler looks great, and I would actually like also to see a Bravely collection, which is basically just 1 and 2.
That would be cool.
Switch.
Yeah.
You can't do direct ports. There's some weird stuff in those games.
But, there's a lot of weird stuff. Yeah, all this stuff. Just put it that way. It's just weird.
I've not played much of the second, but there's some things at the end of the first game which are really using this 3DS here. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I would like to see more on that thing, which is cool. That's going to do it for the news. So, but we do have a super topic to go through. So, quick recap on super topics. You can send a super topic to us. It can be a question. It can be something a bit different. It's essentially your own podcast feature of choice. If you are interested, please support us on patreon.com/Nintendo Voice, and you can get creative and come up with a feature for this show. And we have many questions from Jonathan Cruz. One of them we'll answer this week.
Yes. So, Jonathan, we thank you for the support.
Absolutely.
We're going to save you for more until we get more people on here. But hey, thank you, though.
Of course, yeah. It's one super topic a week. But yes, thank you very much, Jonathan. The question from yourself that we've chosen this week, because we do have a choice, is what's the craziest thing you've done for a video game, whether that's to buy one or to beat one or anything involved. Who wants to jump first on this one? Who's got a crazy?
I got one thinking simmering in my head, but I want to hear everybody else's first because I've got one going in my head.
Should I go first then?
Yeah,
I'll go first. Mine's not a video game story. Mine's a video game console story.
Ooh,
I'm hoping that falls within these parameters. I got a game with it, so it kind of goes. I traveled to 2 towns and then a city to get my Wii U back in 2014. So in my local town where I live, there's a single game shop. It's an independently owned game shop. I went there and I said, "Do you have any Wii U's?" He said, "No." So, okay. So I went to a bigger town, jumped on the bus, went to a bigger town, went to Game, sure. The biggest video game retailer.
That's what they do. Yeah,
that's what they do. They do their game. Went in there and I said, "Do you have a Wii U?" The guy said, "Yes." Okay. So I was trading in some stuff, and then he took it all in, and we calculated it all, and he's like, "What do you want to buy?" I said, "Wii U." He goes, "Oh, we haven't got any of those." I was like, "You just told me you did." He goes, "Yeah, but I double checked, and we haven't got any." I was like, he goes, the only place that does a Wii U in our database is a city that's an hour and a half away on bus. I was like, so I trekked to my nearest city well, I've got the bus, and I wasn't going to walk it. I was like 4 hours. So yeah, I got a bus there. Got my very dusty Wii U box, which clearly hadn't been moved in about.
Nobody wanted it.
Like,
that just shows the state.
The guy brought it to the counter and then literally blew off the dust on it. Like, I'm like, it's been sitting here for a while.
And then
nobody wanted this.
But it was a Mario Kart 8 bundle, which I got. So I got my Wii U in Mario Kart 8 and had to lug it home on the bus. So yeah, that's probably the craziest. I mean, I wouldn't recommend doing that, but that's what I did. These days, I'll probably go on Amazon because it's easier to get delivered to you than have to go out that far.
Oh, most definitely.
So yeah, I'm never doing that again. Yeah, it was like 3 hours of like just wandering around trying to get one. Yeah. So at one point, the Wii U was rare-ish.
That's rare. Well, it's rare now, and it's more of a collector. It's more of a collector's item now because it's discontinued.
Well, this was in 2014. It was like at its height of popularity. So
I am thinking that Wii U dev kit I have. I mean, not that you can sell it legally, but I'm sure the value of that must be quite. Through the roof. Someday.
I mean,
I feel like we're gonna get some illegal activity right now. It seems.
No, I explicitly said it's not something one can sell or should. They all have unique serials. They all very easily track to the person in question. But I'm just thinking in terms of like a rarity thing, like because obviously there aren't that many Wii U's relatively. Surely there aren't that many Wii U dev kits out there relatively, and the ones which are probably are being destroyed and such. So actual surviving ones, I imagine, will be very slim. But that's just a random fact. something which has just popped in my mind for this, which
Oh.
actually seems to fit the bill of the question quite well, despite it
The Gizmondo or
sounding a bit weird.
The Gizmondo, jeez.
No,
The one console whose backstory involved the guy who actually involved getting involved with the mob.
yeah.
That's good. I like the Gizmondo.
You sure? You really sure about that?
No, I'm not actually that sure.
They were just like, I like Gizmondo.
It was,
Such a genuine little thing. It's like, yeah, I like it.
it's a weird system. That it was because it.
Lewis, do you have one?
I
You have
had.
one?
I've had.
Oh, you had. Okay.
I've played one I had one at one point. It was it was a 3D system in that sense, because it was one of those systems in the GBA era. It supported fully polygonal games. But it didn't have much of a library. Anyway, I guess some of those obscure portables that I like could come into this. I won't mention any particulars by name. But no, the thing I wanted to go through is, and I couldn't remember for certain if it's something I've said on the podcast itself, possibly.
Okay.
And it might be I say and you go, oh, yes, Lewis, you've said that a few times now. But in terms of the craziest thing you've done for a game, it's going to be probably this thing, my arm.
Okay, finally I get to know what that is.
Oh, okay.
No, I've seen your Facebook, and I've never asked your tattoo. Like, what did you do with your tattoo?
I've seen your Facebook.
Sorry, that came out wrong. I've seen your Facebook. I've seen everything.
But what it says 21 days.
I know what this is.
Yeah, it's a game that I will make one day, but I feel it's one because I've had it going through my head for many years now, double digits, in fact. It's a bit of a nervous proposition to go on and make it, because I want it to be good, and so I feel I will have needed to have done the groundwork and everything else, so I'm able to make this game. Yeah. But yeah, I've had it. I've had that tattoo on my arm for at least 10 years, might be quite a bit more than that by this point. And the reason I got it was for that in itself, because even then I was delaying it off, going, it's not so much delaying starting making it. I would start making it and go, actually, I've got a better idea for this game, then completely switch genres. And that's happened many times. There's oddly only a few genres 21 Days hasn't been at some point as part of a game on my PC. And so, yeah, that's why I got that tattooed on my arm, because one day it will be a game which is released. And without
coming soon to Switch.
I'm not committing to that. But it wouldn't be characteristic that it's always in development in some form or another, so it's not an impossibility either.
Most developers write their ideas down on a piece of paper. Lewis like, I got a title, I'm gonna go get it tattooed right now.
Well, no, even then, that was still like several years. I didn't just come up with the idea of a weekend and go, I got to do this one.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so I think that fits the bill of craziest thing you've done for a video game. How about you, Harrison?
I have two, actually. One doesn't really involve one involves what I did for a game, but one I dealt with a console. If everybody remembers when we did our 10-year retrospective about the Wii and our stories about when we first got our Wii, I mentioned how I waited in line with about 12 other people in a lawn and garden section of a Walmart. And if everybody remembers a little bit briefly, that there was a story of a guy that one of my friends, he was like the second to last person in line. He was the last person in line to get for to be situated. So we're waiting there for about a good 10, 12 hours and such. And he gets into line to, buy his Wii and his copy of Twilight Princess. So they swipe his credit card, nothing. Swipe it again, nothing. Swipe again, nothing. So he was getting denied, and like a fit of panic just finally just goes on his face, and he's like, "Oh my god, what am I gonna do?" Because there was at least 2-3 other people who were like not in line that are just salivating and basically trying to get a Wii console. So the Walmart cashier told him, If you're not back here in about 10 minutes, I'm giving this to another person.
Ooh.
Another buddy of us who was with us, he said, hop in my Bronco. Yes, so like we get into his vehicle.
Classic line.
And I swear, we ran about like at least close to a dozen stop signs to get to his bank. Now, everybody's asking, why didn't you go to an ATM at the Walmart? Well, the one didn't work there. That's another thing. So we ran stop signs. Every time we got to some stop signs, he says, these aren't stop signs, these are just slow signs. We get to we stop by the ATM. He just runs out, goes to his bank, gets the cash out, and we got there with about a minute to spare.
Brilliant.
So
Marvelous.
And the weird thing is, he ended up selling it 4 months later.
Yeah, that sounds about right for we.
For a profit,
Yeah.
I imagine.
Well, now that's that story. I was in that vehicle. No, of course I was in the back, holding just holding my Wii console in the back. But we're like, we're either gonna die or we're gonna get pulled over because we were underage.
Or your friend's gonna jump you and take it.
Well, not that. But just we were under.
Okay. You're playing Wii Sports in the back car.
Yeah, but no, we were young, and my friend, we had booze in the back. We were drinking underage. We're like, okay, we get stopped, we're screwed, and then it's tickets upon tickets. So that's my story. Now that
we to pay for the tickets.
Oh, geez, no, that's more than I remember when I had to pay for a ticket when I had an MIP when I was like 18. That cost double that. Jeez.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but that I don't know. The laws have changed. But aside from that, now things I've done for a game though. I do remember I made a custom-made Metroid T-shirt for the release of Metroid Prime once, and this was a freshman year of high school. I did with Sharpie markers, did very well. Nice little big Metroid, and everybody was asking me, "What's that?" Oh, it's Metroid. It's the first new Metroid games in 8 years. Fusion and Prime are coming out that day, and problem is, I was wearing a really nice shirt underneath that, whatever, and everything else kind of bled into my nice T-shirt. So there was this big mark of a freaking outline of a Metroid on my nice little dress shirt, and I was like, "Well, not wearing that to another wedding again."
Hey, it looked all right.
So that was one thing, and that was me doing it for the release of a game. So
Yes,
that is my dedication for something like that. So yeah,
I feel like my stories. I need to beef up. I once played 16 hours straight on Monster Hunter. Does that count as insane?
I think that counts for part of the course for you and your Monster Hunter addiction.
Was this due to a particular thing? Like, why would you play 16 hours straight? Did you just look at your watch and realise you'd been playing 16 hours straight and thought, "Oh, I better stop"? Or
I had a day off work.
Fair enough. Make the most of it, as it were.
Yeah.
Hunt some monsters.
That's right. For 16
Hunt
hours.
some titans.
It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I had fun.
That's good. Yeah, I think that counts. That's pretty crazy. Memories.
Yes.
I think we've covered this quite well. But just to double check, does anyone have any burning things to add to this?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, no, nothing springs to mind. I've probably given my best one.
No, that's cool. All right, now we've got some good answers out of this. So thank you, Jonathan, for the question. And I would also like to reach out to existing supporters. One, thank you very much. And two, feel free to, send in those super topic questions. We appreciate you already supporting us in that sense. So please do head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Voice. The topic or the shout out for super topics is the latest post. So if you give out a click, chuck in a reply to something you would like to see, we can make it happen. Simple as that. That is going to do it for today's show. And so what we'll do, as we do every week before we end the show, we'll go around and we'll give out our own contact details once more for one of us, and let you know anything else we're up to that we'd like you to know about. Harrison, would you like to go first?
Why not? You can reach me at Twitter at @Milfeld, and if you want to add me on Switch, I have my friend code pinned to the top of my Twitter profile. And if you really feel about my opinions about anything else, you can find me at purenintendo.com, where I'm doing all sorts of lovely things. Like recently, I wrote a cover story for Detective Pikachu, much to Colin's chagrin.
You should have seen if you could Colin in for that for the alternative opinion. and he can like counter each of your points.
No.
Are you kidding me? It would just be his like the entire opinion would just basically this should not exist. This should not exist.
Exactly. See,
People
Harris
love
knows what I'm like.
it. All right, Colin.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, which I've already got hate mail coming apparently. At Heidi and Bard. Would you say I think it's spelled? You can find my Switch friend code, which I hate the fact we got friend codes. It's at the top of my profile now. Besides that, I do streams. I do streams every day. Lately, though, I've been doing some interactive streams, which are quite fun.
Ooh, how do interactive streams work, Colin?
Well, they're streams that the viewers play, which is intriguing.
Okay.
Basically, what it is, I'm playing a Telltale series right now, the Batman Telltale series. I don't make the choices; the viewers do.
Okay. So is this like, is this just typing into live chat the options as they appear? No.
No.
Ooh, how does this work?
A prompt appears every time a choice is made in the game. A prompt appears, multiple choice. You get a pick which one you want. It's like a voting system, and the choice with the most votes gets selected. I don't touch a button. Nothing happens.
That sounds like dark magic. How is this part of Mixer? Or is
this is a Mixer exclusive feature because Mixer runs at sub-second latency. So it's like 0.2 seconds of latency between what I'm doing and what they can see. So it's like they can just boom. Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, if you tried to do that through Twitch or YouTube, the delay will be big enough to a lot of those.
It's about 15 seconds.
Be missed, yeah. And you need a lot less than 15 seconds in the Telltale game.
We got less than a second, so it's amazing.
Like 5 seconds or so.
Technology is wonderful. So
it is. That sounds cool. I'm going to check that out, Colin.
There you go. But yeah, you can find my Mixer streams at Heidi and Bard as well. So there you go.
Okay. Well, for myself, if you want to find me on Twitter or Instagram, the word you need is Luvision, and the spelling for that is Leuvision. And I don't have anything additional to plug, really. I think the only thing I will say, it's kind of the competitor to Harrison's stuff, so I feel a bit cheeky mentioning it, but I'm not involved. Some of these posters behind me are from Nintendo Force, and I got a recent episode.
Yeah, they're better. Trust me, they are. I will definitely say they definitely are a little bit better. They're better than us right now.
I think
that's a glowing endorsement from Harrison.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm glad to hear what I have. I'm just saying, if I had somebody asked me like, we're both good.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
Your stuff is digital only, right?
Yes, at the moment, but we are on the hopes of actually getting a physical magazine sent out again.
Nice.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. That's the I think like the nice thing about Nintendo Force is because it is just a magazine you can hold in your hand, because there aren't many of those anymore for gaming.
Mm-hmm.
At least over here, I think there's an official Xbox and PlayStation magazine.
There's generally a very good reason for that, though.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really sell. That's the thing.
I know, but that's business aside. I like how Patreon has given them a business model which works for them.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And so I get this physical magazine through my door each month, and they also include some posters I can chuck on the wall as well.
Cool.
I just wanted to mention that. I've not opened that yet. This is not an ad.
This is not.
It just sounds a bit like one.
Hashtag unsponsored.
But yeah, I think that's going to do it for the episode. So thanks once again for listening or watching, however you enjoy this show. And this has been Nintendo Voice.
See you later.
Take care, everyone.